Roll them, guys.
So you want us to roll?
Yeah, I want you to roll them. The continent of Shar has never been the same since the Cataclysm, when an unknown event caused a tremendous blast and shockwave that caused the widespread devastation. Forests were flattened, cities destroyed, and entire nations were thrown into disarray. But it's nearly 500 years later, and people have mostly gotten on with their lives. Only the long-lived races view it as more than a footnote in history, 500 years being more than enough time for humans to rebuild. The woodland elves are reclusive and violent, while the ones who worked with mankind have gone civil. The dwarves have become insular and untrusting again. Orcs and goblins have risen as a dominant race, selling muscle and livestock from their new kingdom at the feet of the Dwarven Mountains. Giantkin can be found wandering the plains, avoiding towns, and a new offshoot of a strange red, skin-toned hybrids have begun to appear in Bree. After the recent fall of one of its biggest economic and militaristic rivals, one nation has risen to fill the power gap. Bree, a nation once known for food, wine, and crafty mercantilism, is going through an industrial and magic revolution. It is fueled by a radical change in its leadership and has begun a steady subjugation of its neighbors. A nearly perpetual skirmish between Bree and Valeria has become an all-out war, a war that Valeria has begun to realize it cannot win. Not only does Bree possess better technology, but they are well organized, seemingly overnight, but also culturally stronger. A country marked with struggle, but at the same time filled with promise if one is willing to work under the yoke of the primacy. Many refugees of the weakened nation of Celestian flock to Bree for protection. The sparse forest and deep hills of North Celestian are becoming dangerous as more and more beasts, fairies, and other monstrosities have become increasingly common. On top of the political and national change, a magical renaissance has begun as well. For some reason, the arcane has become easier and more common. The weave of magic within the realms of Shar has demonstrated a strange transformation, and there are only a few people who truly understand why. Ancient beasts of legend, not long ago, were spoken only of in stories, and located only in the deepest of dungeons by explorers. They have now started to appear, encroaching on remote settlements and preying on the populace. Adventurer was a job that for some time in history was often synonymous with vagabond or two-bit mercenary, but old dangers have re-risen, and old jobs find strange new applicants. The way of magic was once the purview of mages and priests. Often they kept an eye and fostered the arcane talent. And though many could perform a handful of tricks, true arcane power was rare and mostly outside the reach of the common man. But along with the beasts and the strange flow of arcana came new ingenuity as well. A new working class of artificers is becoming common. Strange practitioners who have unfailingly made magic more accessible to all through the creation of new, commonplace magical items and accessories. While these items often lack the stability of wizard's charm, or a dwarven or elven artifact's unbreakable power, they make up for it by being more affordable, or if not, more likely to be sold at all. This upsurge in invention came with a price, however, and the nations of Bree and Valeria found plenty of willing contractors when they came looking to pay them for new weapons. And because of this, the last 20 years of war have been unlike anything seen before. Guns have come to Shar. Loud, destructive, smoke-blasting tools of death have been invented. Cheap to make and easy to train with, these simple but effective weapons have become relatively commonplace. The primacy places strict rules on the ownership of firearms, keeping them for only their military and policing forces to use. Yeah, guys, we're starting campaign 2. We're going to try out this new rolling method I recently saw. You roll 24 dice, you drop your 6th lowest, whatever the 6 lowest dice are, you just take them out of the mix, and then you just put them in any groups of 3 you want to get your stats.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's going to scale a little bit higher probably, because you have a little more control over the low ones that get taken out.
Drop the lowest 6.
But I think that's going to be kind of fun, and it'll give you guys a fairly good balance. So you should end up with 18 dice that you turn into 6 scores.
Okay.
Oh, you said roll 24. I rolled my d20s. I rolled my d12, so I just picked any 6. And,
he rolled 24s.
24.
Okay,
No,
to be fair...
It would be on brand.
Yeah.
I did roll.
Mitch, if you rolled 24
That would be
d20s,
excessive.
your highest score would be a 12, because I know you.
I got a 17 on one of my d20s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got a 5 and a 4 and a 15. And I got two 15s.
So, session 0, guys. Holy shit. We made it.
Hey, shut up. I'm still counting my dice.
Okay, man. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and read a little world lore while you guys do that. How's that?
Do it,
Does
bitch.
that feel good?
I'll believe you.
Didn't I tell you to shut up while I was counting my dice?
It's been 18 years since the last campaign, if anybody needs to know that. Basically, after the Celestian had a war with Bree, Bree just started doing its thing, because Celestian, having lost Griffinport, well, not lost Griffinport, but having had so much happen in the last campaign, Celestian just could not worry about a foreign power anymore. And Bree has more or less been allowed to kind of reign unchecked for the last few years. They've really consolidated their power in Griffinport. They aren't going all out to war with Bree, and that has meant Valeria has been dealing with them for the most part. And you guys are starting out in Bree as Breean soldiers of one form or another. Yeah, a few differences here and
Yeah,
there.
sure, bud.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah, a few
bud.
differences here and there. And so yeah, let's see what's next on the docket here. Welcome to session 0 for Torchlit Tavern Campaign 2.
Woo! Session 0.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Session 0. Hey, here's something that I'm gonna have to ask y'all.
I was muted.
And maybe you guys can help me do it as we go.
Yeah, Ryan coming in for the finish.
Yeah, thanks, bud. I have not named this campaign yet. Last time I ended up naming the last one City Life, and I didn't really come up with that till later too. But I am definitely open to what we name this.
I think
campaign.
we should name this The Torchlit Tavern Season 2. Bro, yo, what the
I don't know how to write that on on an episode when I post
Not really,
it.
no.
We named this
know
one
how you spell
Clicky
that.
Clacky Math Rocks. It's in the books this time.
It's in the books this time.
Um,
I was thinking primacy is my initial concept, because that is the name of the Breean Empire.
that's the primacy of Bree.
Yes.
cheesy primacy?
Yeah, sure. I think I liked where he's going, but I'm going to go in a different direction. We'll call this one Funky. Campaign 2, this one's Funky, because it's Bree. Bree is funky.
Campaign
funky
3 would
cheese.
be fresh, right? Is that what we're gonna do? This one's fresh.
Yeah, Funky Fresh.
This one's funky. This one's fresh.
Let's call it Campaign 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Campaign 2, Fever in the Funkhouse.
Ooh, Fever the Funk.
Hold on. Writing all these down. Well, I'm sure we'll see which one feels right in the moment. For now, we'll just sort of go with it. So funky, Electric Boogaloo. What was that last one?
Campaign
Ryan?
2, a fistful of bullets.
A fistful of bullets. For a few dynamite more.
For a few paintballs more.
I feel bad recommending this because I feel like it's not in the energy that we're having here. But what about just Torchlit Tavern, the campaign of Bree?
Why?
Because it's literally a campaign in Bree, right? Like we're doing a military campaign.
I'm glad you asked. You will be traveling way more this time around, gentlemen. I know that I kept y'all in one town for a whole campaign.
Campaign of the primacy?
Better.
How about we call it Live Bree or Die Young?
All right, I like that. I'll write that one down. All right, I think that this is good to run on
Live
for
Brie
now.
or die cheddar, because cheddar is a hard cheese. And Brie is a soft cheese.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, Live Bree or Die Cheddar. I like that.
It's definitely going to be on some of the propaganda for the army, I think.
Let Breedom Ring.
Let Breedom ring.
Ooh.
Definitely more propaganda posters for sure. These are all going to be all throughout town. In the meantime, hey guys,
Bree Kind Rewind.
you guys rolled some characters.
Campaign 2, Pop.
Pop, bot is drop.
Fantastic.
Campaign 2.
You know what?
Everybody going
I
die.
asked you guys for help, but and thank you. You guys have really given me a lot to think about. I think that
You're
I'll
welcome.
get back to you about the name. You don't need
Campaign
to
2,
help.
Black
You don't-
Powder
you-
go boom.
No, you don't need to help anymore. It's fine. What I want to know
Black
about
powder
is
go
your
boom.
characters.
Hey,
That would be great.
Campaign 2, just black powder is really good, though.
Black powder
Yes,
is
black powder,
good.
I like.
Ooh, shit. Okay, let me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you may have landed on it. That's what happens when you throw spaghetti at the wall, everybody.
You're welcome. See, you were mad, but we were
I
getting
was
there.
mad. I am mad.
And then we circled back.
I can't stay mad
Once
at you.
again, I apologize for being on task. I know it's off-brand, and I'll try not to do it again.
Yeah,
God
please
damn it,
knock it
Mitch.
off. I don't know how to handle it. You pivot so hard that I'm always like, I don't notice it when you do something brilliant.
If it makes you feel better, neither do I.
Yo, these stats, not bad.
These stats not bad. All right, so that's where our world is. We are Torchlit Tavern. We are a real play 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons podcast. We focus on narrative-driven storytelling whenever we can, and we're going to be leaning really hard into it for our brand. My name is Jameson Oxford.
My brand.
I am your dungeon master, and will be your dungeon master for this campaign. I have been playing Dungeons and Dragons for 17 years, since I was 14 years old. Yeah, big nerd. Big nerd. Been playing since 3rd edition. I've played a little bit of 3.5, Pathfinder, a lot of Pathfinder, a little bit of 4th. It didn't last long for reasons that I'm sure people are familiar with. And then 5th, which I really like. I think it's an easy way for people to get into the game. If you haven't been listening to the show, welcome. And I hope you enjoy our show. Playing with me for this campaign is going to be...
I just want to throw this out there before we kick on Ryan. How many campaigns have you finished, Jay? I mean, you've been playing it for a long time.
It's fair.
Oh, one. The one that we recorded. Yeah, one.
That's impressive.
You might say that this whole
Hey, you
thing was a
finished one?
con
Nice.
to get players to stick around for a whole campaign because,
Get
things
out of
fall
town.
apart. People put it on the back burner because it's just their hobby. But if you force them to record it every day and you tell them that people are listening, they show up. Pro DM tip out there, record your sessions and release them for other people. You'll actually see the end of your stories.
But not the first one.
Not the first one.
Not the
After
first.
you've hit me with that,
Throw that one away.
revelation, I'm afraid. I know this is session 0, but I gotta leave for some reason because can't do it twice in a row.
At least he's leaving now. I can replace him. I can figure it out. I'm going to get on the phone. You guys go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Yeah, so back to me, I guess. I am Ryan Santos, and yeah, that's really it. No, I'm kidding. I have played D&D for... How long did we do this podcast?
3 years.
3-4 years?
6
going
months?
on?
Oh, shit.
Too long, some would say, but that is how long I've really been playing D&D. I started on 4th, and like everybody says, it's not the best, but 5th, telling you, having a blast. And yeah, I've only been in one real campaign, and I finished that one, so suck it, Jay. And yeah, just I like playing D&D now. It's kind of embarrassing.
It's a weird energy to bring into the game there, bud.
Yeah.
Your character's so squishy now. You have a wand.
So squishy.
So squishy.
The squishiest.
So squishy, and you just told the DM to suck it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
You really
firm
making bold
energy, and
moves.
I'm for it.
Make it firm.
Squishy energy?
Yeah, firm squishy.
I like
energy.
it.
Chub energy.
Chub
We've
energy.
We've done firm and squishy. It's chub energy.
Oh God.
Matt, if that's not our brand.
That is the happy medium.
It's real firm tofu energy. That's all I'm saying.
But who else am I playing with?
Yeah.
Well,
Who else is he
we
playing
also we lost Jeff.
Hello, everyone.
So we're got
So I'm not it.
no, it's Mitch because Jeff left. He quit on us.
Damn
so
it.
You've got to go
I
next.
left the podcast.
Okay, hi, I'm Mitch. If you listened to the last campaign, thank you, and I'm sorry, and haha, suckers, I got you! In order. And
Yeah.
sorry again. Honestly, I don't know why I'm here. I only played the last campaign because I told Jay, God damn it, Jay, I'm gonna make you fucking finish the campaign with me. Because I've also been playing D&D for a long time, and I share Jay's track record because he's who I've been playing D&D with. Actually, I'm just gonna leave. I'll catch y'all later.
Fuck, man, it's just me and Ryan today.
Cool. Hey, that's how it started, right?
That's true. This was our
Back
idea.
to the
It
beginning.
was my mistake.
Your idea, and then I introduced you to podcasts, and that was my fault.
Well, tell us more about yourselves if you're staying. If not, then I need to get on the phone. I got backups. I'll hit them up. We got fans who are chomping at the bit to replace you.
Okay, well, I've got
Audience,
got a couple of dogs.
this isn't true except for some of you. But I'll hit you up if these fuckers leave me. I will.
Well, I guess I just got called into this campaign to replace Mitch. How weird is that? Fucking Mitch dropped out. I never thought that was gonna happen. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
he likes
Jeff.
to drop out midway.
Yeah. I have been playing D&D for the better part of like 5 or 6 years now, which is not as long as the other guys, but I've played probably very close to as many campaigns. How crazy is that?
He has a fever.
I jumped in it with both feet, and I just kept going. I was doing 3 campaigns a week for a while, but now I started going to a 12-step program, and I've been able to cut down. And I still pin up a new character every now and again, even though there's not a game to play him with. But I'm doing better. With that being said, I've played in 2nd edition. That's how I started. Crazy, I know. I've never played the Forbidden Edition of 4th. I played a little 3.5 or Pathfinder.
I got the books, bro. It's not too late.
Don't bother.
It's forbidden. I will not. And of course, this was my introduction, starting in this podcast when I was the other Jeff. That's not this Jeff. Is how I started 5th edition, and it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to get a new character off the ground. Let's go. You're off your rocker, man. Our great nation doesn't stoop to low warfare. We're winning because we got better weapons, better infrastructure, and more passionate men and women wearing the black and red. I know you heard stories of towns being slaughtered near the coast, but there are terrorists out there, gunning for any man who walks Cobb streets, not to mention our enemies both inside and outside our country. Why do you think it was these? Super soldiers. They have scales and sharp teeth. Look at you, man. You sound like a conspiracy theorist. If we had super assassins, don't you think it'd be in our country's best interest to tell us and our enemies about them? Strike fear, and pride for us. Why hide soldiers so effective that they sneak into king's quarters without being seen? Besides, even if we did, they're probably just well-trained men. I've heard stories of our old Marines from back in the old wars. It makes them sound supernatural.
Hey, Ryan and Jay and Jeff.
Hey, Mitch,
wait, no,
what's up?
Jay, you told me I had. You just called me and said that Jeff bailed. I see Jeff right here.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I just got called.
So I'm not sure what's going
bailed.
on. I'm Mitch. Jay called me because he said some asshole bailed.
Yeah, Jeff.
So I was going to help him out with his podcast.
You bailed, and then Jeff replaced you.
Do you want me to do an intro?
I think we've got your old one. If that's okay.
We've got your old one. We can just use that.
Front. Yeah.
No, he left. He's out. He's not on the.
Okay, then what does new Mitch bring to the table?
Hey guys, I'm Mitch. I've been podcasting for about a year. I've got a long history of public speaking, and I'm an ultra nerd. I've been playing D&D with Jay for a really long time, though it was before the podcast, and I'm pretty excited to see how his world's developed. One of the things that we've mentioned before, but we didn't mention here, is that his world is actually a canonically consistent progressive reality that has been running for, what did you say, like 17 years, Jay? So it's very cool to see how this grows and develops, and I'm interested to see what we end up with.
Probably more like 10, but yeah.
It is funny to me that he did say that he's been podcasting for a year when the podcast has been going on for at least 3.
Definitely 3. He's only been here for a year, though. He reinvents himself every few years,
Mitch,
I've
been on the podcast for years.
Oh, cumulative time is what you're saying.
I've been podcasting for about a year.
Fair enough.
That's when I started to give a shit. Anyway.
So this is my team. I did it to me, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, fucking mistakes were made.
Yeah,
right?
I can't believe that I did this twice. So in that frame of thought and dread, what characters do you bring to my table this time? I've told you about the world. We've discussed a little bit here and there. What monstrosities did you create? I made this world where like there are these warring armies and these things, and it's like very important that there's like some sort of baseline. So you guys all made like standard like dwarf elf characters, right? Like I asked.
Calling them monstrosities is like slightly offensive to almost all of us.
Calling Ryan's character a monstrosity is my brand.
It is on brand, but it also like slightly describes all of us, so that's kind of rude.
He can't have it.
It shouldn't describe all of you because I specifically asked you guys to play like human, elf, dwarf, right? Like keep it kind of simple.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You told me to wait. You said to use the core races. I thought that text said don't use the core races.
Oh, what?
No, it said you make sure you use a core base, right?
Do
I used
was
a core
bold,
base.
italicized, and underlined. Do, not don't. Do.
Oh.
What did you make?
Right here.
Maybe I-
Right here it says, make sure Mitch don't be an asshole. Make sure you use a core base race.
Yeah, so we're
I
batting
used a core base race.
1 out of 2, right?
Yeah, I made a shifter because they're based on a core race.
Fuck.
Oh.
So, Mitch, what did you make?
I made a shifter.
Okay, a shifter what?
Oh, I min-maxed.
Cool. So last time we
So
couldn't
what's
get
your
you to
min?
Try
say
that, 'cause
last
I'm
time we couldn't get you to
terrible.
say what you were because Goliath wasn't important, but now you're just your race, and that's how you only identify.
Yeah, entirely. No, I really decided to min-max this time. I really think I broke it out. So I'm playing a shifter barbarian, and my stats are pretty dope. I've got a 13, a 14, an 18, a 9, a 17, and a 7.
Oh man, those are the
And,
best stats you've ever rolled, bud.
They are... My stats are fantastic. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
They're
so
great.
I'm playing a shifter barbarian. Haven't played one of those. I chose originally, because Mitch builds characters very early in the plan, I was a Swift Stride, but I've actually elected to do Wild Hunt, because I felt that it was more canonically appropriate to my character's design and min-max better with barbarian.
Yeah, and more min-maxy, yeah. Because you told me about that particular...
I'm gonna
Hack.
need the help.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need the help. We just watched this for 3 years. I need the help.
So Jeff,
And if you
made
if
it.
you've recently listened to the
I'm-
Christmas episode or Solstice episode, you will know that he's been experimenting with min-maxing.
I'm just hoping
Recently.
to min-max my way
That's
to
true.
moderate.
So Jeff, you made an elf or something, right? Since Mitch failed me.
Oh,
I
Oh,
followed your
bud.
instructions to the T.
bud. I misread that text. So no, I didn't.
I shouldn't be surprised though. I don't think you've ever played anything that was even remotely a base race, right? Like that's just not you
No,
as a person. Yeah.
it's not me. It's not who I am, man. You should have known that.
No vanilla,
walking into
no
this.
vanilla, no shorties, right? Those are the 2 rules.
No, I've played some short races
Have you?
before.
Okay. So Jeff, what did you make?
I made I
Scorpion.
made a character that's based on the Simic hybrid block.
The what?
The Simic hybrid.
The fuck's a Simic hybrid?
I think it's a hybrid of like
A Simic?
Simics.
Yeah, thank you.
Simics.
What the fuck is a Simic hybrid?
I got
what
you,
did
Ryan.
What did you hybridize it with? Was it like elf or human?
No, like sea creatures mostly.
Like, what stats?
Are you
using
playing a
for that?
sentient jambalaya?
I wish. I didn't see that stat block, or else I would.
I
I
didn't
would
see a stat block for a
definitely-
sea creature. What stat block are you using?
Well, like I said, it's a Simic hybrid, and like, so you could have like one of 2 base races, and one of those could have been like kind of like an elf, like a Triton or
Yeah, it could
something.
have been, yeah.
But
But a Triton's not an elf.
I didn't.
He's playing a ceviche.
I didn't go that route. I actually have kind of created a bit of my own base race
Mm?
for that.
Really?
Yeah. I sent you an email though. Like I gave you a lot of lore that I was writing and some interesting stuff. I
Mm.
think you should read it. I think it'll fit into your world really nicely. Did you get that email? Have you
Yeah, I
checked?
think it's really rude of you, Jay. I mean, he misread your email, but he at least read it.
Yeah. It's pretty well composed.
I'm gonna think. I'm gonna,
And
what's your class? What's your class?
Oh, well, that's easy. I'm a rogue.
Oh, okay. All right. That's something.
Sweet, you're playing a broken class too.
Yeah.
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 I'm just gonna be a standard old rogue.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
The
going
most
for.
broken class in Dungeons and Dragons. Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan, you
Hey, bud.
you made a normal character, right?
Yeah, I made a human.
Cool. I don't even know what to do with your human now because
Yeah, I made a
I've
human.
got to
I made a
pivot so
human.
hard to make their characters fit that I'm gonna.
Here, hold
I
on.
don't think
Let me
You
switch.
can't be a human.
Let me switch over to D&D Beyond. It
Okay.
says
Not sponsored. Should be. Pay us.
that that doesn't say human.
What does it say, Ryan?
It says
What's this character with a number?
a Warforged Artificer.
Oh,
Ooh.
Right.
that makes sense.
You see, I thought I clicked human, but it's like right next to the W. It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not at
it's
all.
not.
That's a
It's
lie.
not- I don't.
Ryan, are you
That's
bipedal?
Yes.
Close enough.
Okay, as Plato said, a featherless biped is human. He is on task.
God damn it, Plato.
Oh shit! Then we all made humans.
Yeah, you did.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, well,
Oh,
it's
shit.
Go Plato.
Yeah,
hey,
we're all
hey,
humans.
hey,
CJ, see?
I'm a big fan of Plato, so, it stands. I'll make it work, guys.
I also like Play-Doh, but don't eat it.
Don't eat
Artemis also loves Play-Doh.
it. He's been dead a long time. I doubt he tastes good. So I'm gonna put jokes to the side. I'm gonna put jokes to the side for a second. Shut him up. We did talk about this. This isn't a surprise. This is fine.
This is fine.
Tell me.
Everything is fine.
So you guys actually picked races that are all world homebrew. So this is gonna be fun. These are all going to be new Torchlit Tavern, World of Shar, in the plane called Obscuria. Only we're using stats from the book. Warforged is about the closest thing to just buy the book that we've got. And even that, we're going to be taking our own direction. Your Simic Hybrid, we're going to change the names of that. Simic Hybrid, we're going to give it a different name because they're not Simics in my world. That's very much a Magic the Gathering,
Street Shark.
I believe.
Street Shark.
Street Sharks is a good one. I like that one. It's got an energy that I just like.
How can you not?
Alternatively,
Street
I
Shark.
was thinking that we might call them Fishy Boys, or
I changed my vote.
or maybe Sushi Roll Order number 2.
Yeah, I think we get
Shrimp Supreme.
Is it? Oh, I don't. Shrimp Supreme. I'm not.
What about
We could it?
Cephalopod
Filet
Surprise?
fish.
It does sound dangerous.
I do like cephalopod surprise.
Cephalopod surprise. We're getting closer. Can we call it as long as you don't call them calamari, like, honestly, I guess that's
We don't want to call him calamari. That's too on point. We should put like one syllable in front of it, like Mon Calamari. That way it'll be completely original.
Yeah, then it's
Fucking
fine.
Star Wars.
Oh,
Stupid
fuck, that sounds like a
assholes.
trap.
Yeah. So
Wow.
no
Opinions.
We'll figure out the proper name, and we'll leave all these racist terms there on the table for other people to call you and piss your character off.
Sick. I love it already.
Yeah.
And by I love it, I mean I'm gonna hate it.
You're gonna hate the shit out of it. Yeah. It'll be the casual way for the DM to say you can kill this NPC. Mitch, you are playing a shifter.
Love it.
Yeah.
And shifters are a race from the Eberron campaign book. If anybody's played those, they're really cool. They're like cat, dog, people, like half
Animorphs.
Yeah, like a half werewolf thing.
So it looks like cat
but
dog?
We're gonna make it our own. There's gonna be their
Cat
own lore
dog.
in our world, and you are kind of like a first, second generation. All of you, well, everyone but Jeff. Everyone is sort of a first or second generation version of these races. That's how new a lot of these races are. But what makes yours special? What are you exactly? How do you envision the shifter?
Oh, was that in that document?
Probably. Yeah, I sent a lot of lore packets out. You guys should have been reading them.
Sorry, I was gonna read it yesterday and then I had a thing.
No, I expected that, actually. This is not a surprise to Jay.
Look, I had time. I had
Was it
time. That time got
important?
taken from. I thought I had more time.
No,
Was
that's
the
fine.
thing important at least?
Are you
I
gonna
read my lore
you're
packet,
a
but like
barbarian?
6 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a barbarian shifter.
Yeah, all right. We'll talk about your barbarian part. What
Sure.
brings your character?
I sent you the lore packet. But
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
We'll get
see,
there. Barbarian
nobody-
shifter.
So we can't. Let's agree to not be mad. Nobody read the lore packet they were sent.
I read
That's better, right?
everyone's
I-
but Jeff's.
Cool.
So yeah, we all made some mistakes. Yeah, no, shifter, barbarian. Yeah, that's me. That's what I'm about. I am a shifter, and I am like a base race, but not, because I'm shifted, and I can choose to be more shifted, and I can also choose to be mad.
Cool. You're
So I'm
you're
very
not prepared
volatile.
at all, are you? Like at all for this whole thing, huh?
No, I'm super prepared. I do reckless attack, and I get
Hold on.
advantage, and you don't.
Hold on.
I'm a barbarian.
on.
I need nothing else.
I
Hold
I
on.
was hoping to give the
Mitch
the
didn't
listeners
come
more.
prepared. I thought we were gonna play today.
No,
Hold on.
We're not playing today.
Did,
today.
did you even bring dice, Mitch?
Yeah, I got dice.
He rolled them earlier.
Like 30 of them. I specifically curated a substantial portion of questionable, cheap dice in my hideous bronze color from a dollar store.
But you're a barbarian and you only need
and
2.
I've heard online that they are terrible.
You only need 2 dice as a barbarian. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's for my cross class.
You're level 1.
You're gonna what?
Yeah, I gotta level up first.
Okay. We'll come back to that.
I always plan ahead.
Yeah, okay, so pivoting from Mitch, Ryan, what do you want to
Hey.
tell the listeners about your character starting out?
Well, like I said, they are a Warforged artificer. Initially, I was going to hopefully cross class, but I think since the D&D people have fixed the artificer, and it is now a set thing, and they're no longer just like testing and messing with it. I like where it is now, so they're just going to be an artificer all the way through.
Ooh,
And
okay.
as I recall, story wise, my Warforged has been deactivated for some time, and
Okay.
so they are going to be coming into a world that they know very little of, and
I think it's good that we started with you two, because we have alluded to the fact that we've met your character on the show already.
yes, technically, my show was in the first campaign. My show? Is that what I said? My character was
Yeah,
in
your
the
show.
first. Technically, my character was in the first campaign. So, yeah, maybe go back and listen to that one, see if you can figure out where they were. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to really give you more than that because I'm going to tease you.
Okay.
Ooh, he's such a tease.
Love a good tease. The only thing I'll say is that, yeah, your character is part of the Warforged from Campaign 1 that we met. These robotic creations that were in the town of Santos at the time when they tried to infiltrate when the group did. He might not have been there. You guys are going to have to look a little harder to find his character, but that is like what he comes from. He's one of those, and we're going to delve into what that new race is and how they are in the world and where they live. On the flip side of that, we have an older race, one that's been around but not seen yet, that we've invented for our game using Simic hybrid stats. Tell us a little bit about this race, Jeff. This one's definitely a brainchild of yours. Like you had an idea for what you wanted this to be when you brought it to me. Like we worked on it a little bit together, but fuck, this is you. Like, and I really like this one. It's not just you saw a picture in a book and you loved it so much that you had to play it like Grim was. This one
Yeah. Yeah, no, this one I kind of ran with the concept a lot. I like the idea of the Simic hybrid build for those of you who are out here trying to get the tech out of it. Yeah, definitely using the Simic hybrid tech options, but they give you two options in the book, and since like one of those existed but the other one doesn't in Jay's world, and I was like, well, if I'm already going to use something that doesn't exist, I might as well kind of just build it out. And I started doing that based roughly on the other race,
which was
but
Vidalcan.
since
Like
then
when we started, but
it was Vidalcan at the point in which we started. Yeah, but at this point it's taken on such a life of its own that it's not really that anymore.
No, it definitely started to create its own thing. You are a fun pain in the ass, Jeff. I have yet to make a character with you that wasn't just something totally off the wall, and that we didn't need to create lore around just to bring it into game. Like, you know, we've had to do that.
Yeah,
again
just to
with
make
you.
it work.
Giant pain in the ass, but luckily I'm into that shit.
Yeah. We all know.
So,
Yeah.
what?
Luckily enough, with me around, you don't have to hire the mistress.
Are you keeping
but-
what they look like what they are, kind of until we begin, or do you want to like give us a taste of what it means to be these fishy boys? I'm gonna go with fishy boy today.
Fishy boy.
We're going
today.
fishy
yeah,
boy for
we'll,
today.
We'll do we'll do the full reveal later. But I think what I will discuss. I would love to get into a little bit of like what that means, what they are, and a little bit of what they kind of look like. So like when I built this like amphibious race, because they spend a lot of time in the ocean is what I decided, but they're gonna be definitely amphibious, right? Obviously that's a whole other challenge. I don't want to be like, I gotta drink water every 5 minutes, so like let me start tracking this.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting repercussions to this, but we'll try to keep them fun.
Right, of course. I just more than anything, if he wasn't amphibious, then the fun repercussion is that your world now has also invented a reverse scuba suit. So I just didn't need that as a part that we included. It was a bit extra.
Every adventure takes place next to a river. It's fine.
But what I've done with this race that we've created, the Fishy Boys, is I've decided to kind of combine a humanoid baseline, like human-like, right, with a couple of sea creatures I find interesting, and those specifically are like cephalopods, like octopi, or octopodes.
So are you going with tentacles, or is it?
Jeff, did you make
going
Octodad?
I'm definitely. I think. I'm gonna go a little bit into it. I think that they're very heavily Octopodes based, but no tentacles. I think they might still have suckers.
I'm going to call your character Takoyaki.
No. No.
There's another one for the list.
No Cthulhu. No Captain of the Flying Dutchman. None of that going on.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have any of that
No
going on. I
tentacle
don't think there'll
beards?
be any tentacles. No, I think they're gonna be pretty humanoid.
Okay.
I think the other thing I combined them with a little bit was something that was a little bit more prevalent, and in the ocean, believe it or not,
Trying
which
not
is
to let this
sharks.
character end up on Tumblr too much is what you're doing. You're removing
Right.
the tentacles from them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I combined them with sharks, so they are still
So you are a
invertebrates
street
technically
shark.
because sharks are kind of invertebrate. Sort of. I think that base race, they don't all look very sharky, but I think that allows them to have a little bit more skeletal structure. I really went into this.
He did.
But they don't have a real skeleton.
This was a long
because sharks don't have real skeletons. But long story short, I created this race that
Did you just
lives
tell me that your
off-coast.
character is all cartilage, no bone?
yeah.
Okay.
Hang
Yes, I
on,
did.
hang on. What he just told you is even better. If he ever dies and a necromancer raises his corpse, he's going
Zombie
to
or
turn into
nothing.
one of those clacky jaws
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
because the only bones in his body are going to be his jaw
Pac-Man.
pieces.
Pac-Man.
So,
Actually,
Clacky jaws.
point of Jeff's random fact. Shark jaws aren't bone either. They're just the dried cartilage.
Okay.
Because if you notice, they don't have a working hinge because they don't need to hinge
All right. And
when they're
snake jaws don't
not
have a
dried
hinge either.
cartilage.
okay, random facts is great. There's going to be a lot of nature, I think, between you and Mitch, because I know Mitch is playing a character very close to nature. You and Ryan
Right.
are both similar in that you guys are playing characters that are sort of ingrained into the primacy that we discussed, this empire that's building
Yes.
up. You guys are
Kinda, sorta.
very much
Yes.
warriors, tools of that empire. in
definitely,
one
kind
way,
of.
shape, or form. Y'all have been living in it. Let's put it that way.
Right. No, definitely.
But Mitch is not part of the company. He's not part of the corporation. The
No, I'm
primacy.
here to kill you all.
Yeah, I was trying to figure
Yeah.
out
I
how
am
exactly
here
we're
to
supposed to make this work.
undermine. I am here to undermine the entire foundation of the civilization that has grown to develop you, and bring it all back to the right and just causes of nature. and
Oh no,
natural
it's my
selection.
big reveal that Mitch is the big bad. You've ruined it.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oops.
Yeah,
Oh no, my plot. It's broken.
my plot is broken. We spoiled it. What is your character compared to them? How much do you want to tell us?
My character is an interesting. So my character, as a character, he's a shifter. Cool, whatever. He's a barbarian. Okay, stats, dope, whatever. The meat on my character is that he is an anti-hero, so to speak, against civilization.
It's against heroes.
He comes from a very naturalized sect that has got a lot of problems.
Part of Antifa.
Has ended up being very militant, very aggressive, very burn this shit to the ground and start over. It's what would be natural.
Activist.
So
Violent
yeah, his-
activism.
violent military activities.
Okay, which is going to put you at odds with our other players.
The difference with my character compared to a lot of his family, I guess you would say, is that he is more intellectually proactive about it.
The brainwashing didn't take
In
full
that-
effect.
The brainwashing did, but he still thinks about it. He's got he's got the same indoctrination that all of these extremists have, but he still thinks about the task at hand.
Okay.
I
All
guess you could say that he's the obnoxious guy in the group who always wants to do extra. The guy who always wants to optimize the operation. And the boss is like, dude, you just had to go in and kill a dude. And he's like, yeah, but I stayed for a couple of days, poisoned the well, and burnt down their crops. That's going to wipe out the whole town.
So that.
Hold on. What did you say his intelligence stat was?
9.
Oh man.
He's using that brain.
You might
He's
wanna
using what
rethink
little
your
brain he's
character
got, but he's
idea
using
there.
it.
He's
Yeah.
using it.
So
I want you to think you're overthinking things a lot, and I want you to fail at that. That's what I
Yeah,
think
no,
would be
he
great for your
was
character.
raised in a bubble. Fairies. Remember 20 years ago when we were kids and the weather was super weird? I heard that was because the world of fairies damn near merged with ours. It's true. Some guy from Griffinport Way told me. Said there was a rift in the sky and everything anyway. Turns out, whatever happened, the barrier between the land of the fairies and us is thinner now. So when weird shit happens, and you think someone's watching you, or tricks gets played on you by the woodland spirits, it's 'cause them fairies have an easier time coming across to cause us mischief. Don't believe me then? You must not spend much time in the woods there, friend. There's more than mischief happening out there, and it ain't just the angry wildlings doing their malevolence.
Now that Mitch has brought up the fact that he's basically a radical activist, murderer, he poisons wells, let's go ahead and talk about our hard and soft limits for the game. Maybe we should address some of those things that we're going to be discussing. We handle some serious issues here on Torchlit Tavern, and in order to make Mitch's character work, we will have to deal with differences in opinion, we'll call it. We'll have to call, like, some of the things he's dealing with are what do you call that when
I'm playing a bad person.
Not just that. It's
straight up.
But
Straight up shout out. And a thing that I want to iterate right now before we go any further. I am not a bad person. I am playing a bad person. And I fear that I am a good enough role player that may be confused at times. So I just want to lay that clear now.
If anyone's confused about that, he's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and we see parallels with that recently in, like, Winter Soldier, right? They're Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier, whatever the fuck it was, with the bad guy in that lady activist who was blowing shit up.
Yeah, the lady.
Yeah, she's a really good indication of, I think, what Mitch is going for. It's that.
Oh no, I meant like Mitch is not a bad person, but Mitch is going to be playing a horrible person.
Hey,
we know that.
It's a good thing to remind people.
Let's not leave to that. We all know how you. I don't know that you're a good person, Mitch. Like, as your
views and representations on this show do not indicate views and representations of the person portraying the character.
That sort of is a lead into hard and soft limits. We're going to be dealing with some. Taking it seriously, we're going to be dealing with some rough topics. We, as a play table and group, we don't shy away from character trauma, like telling these stories from a very real perspective where you guys have dealt with things. If you guys listen to campaign 1, we had characters that dealt with stuff. They dealt with poverty, they dealt with race tension, they dealt with all of these things, and we're going to continue that because those are the kind of stories that we like to tell. It's something that people understand. If these are things that you don't really like, I don't know that I would recommend our show. We will try to handle them with enough respect and lightheartedness that hopefully it won't be I'm hoping that it'll be interesting and fun for anyone to listen to. We're going to do our best to treat these things with an entertainer's respect. You know what I mean? And I actively encourage anyone, if we say things that are, if we play out story arcs that trouble people, to reach out to us and let us know why. We love to hear feedback, and we'd love to have dialogues about these sort of things.
Yeah, call us out. We need to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if we're doing something that's making you uncomfortable, we're not intending to. So let us know, because that was an accident.
And we'll try. We will try to resolve it in a way that gets it out of the way if it's going to stop too many people from enjoying the show. You know. Right.
We're glad to hear your feedback and understand what happened, what we may have done to you, and if and how we can affect that. Obviously the point of this whole statement is to say, like, hey, we're gonna be doing some rough stuff. There may be some things that might affect you, and like, if that happens from the stuff that might affect you that we know, unfortunately that might be part of the story. But if it's something we stumble into, then
everybody
we're more than happy to be
spots.
like, hey, we didn't mean to stumble into something here.
Exactly.
we meant to make this point, and we can have that discourse.
I, as a dungeon master, I know that there's a lot of discourse about racism in Dungeons and Dragons, and that it shouldn't be there at all. This is my table, these are my players, and we've talked about it, and we think that there is a certain amount of it that is there because it's in the real world and we're trying to tell a real story. And so our world mirrors the real world in certain ways, but luckily we get to control how extreme or awful that is, and we get to control that barometer and how badly
we get to overcome it.
Yeah, that too. We also get to win. We get to have characters that change their mind. We get to have a satisfying ending to these sort of things. And while I'm not going to lean too heavily on it, I'm not going to avoid those topics either. And my players are going to keep me in line, and we'll always have a dialogue. And I encourage the listeners to as well if they have an opinion on what we're doing.
Absolutely. And I mean, like, to put it on record, I think that me personally, several of us are actually biracial. Two of us here are African American to some descent, and by some I mean a decent amount. And we talked about it, and we both do think that it's relatively important to not shy away from these types of things because they are so real.
Yeah,
and it is something that people like us have to deal with. And of course, I don't just want to I think that we have our own history of sort of trauma in that circumstance, so we're not just here to poke at our own problems.
And Dungeons and Dragons, I'm holding a distorted mirror of the real world. These races are not analogous to a race in the real world. I'm doing my best to make sure that that's not a thing. I might use accents because they're my easiest way to do a voice and things like that, but they are not the same. I'm going to use French and Spanish accents in this campaign is my intent. But that doesn't make these places France and Spain. They might be a little bit inspired by, but I'm going to be trying to have these worlds be mixed up and fantastical enough that you can't just draw direct lines, because that's boring. I want to change up your expectation, and if your brain goes down a certain path, watch out, because I'm going to turn left on you, because that's what I like to do. So in that,
I think that brings us to a point of this campaign too, is we've discussed it a lot, and we're not going to spoil what it is, but the way that we see our brand as the Torchlit Tavern, and the way that we see our narratives is the triumphant light out of the darkness. And so you need to have that barometer. You need to establish what the darkness is to grow, to overcome that, to shine beyond it, to be that sort of representation of hope and overcoming evil. So it starts dark because it has to, for reference.
Yeah.
But that's not the point.
In this campaign, I'm not even gonna be. I don't know that racial tensions will be that high. They'll be an issue. But that story was told last campaign a little bit more than I will.
It's not a focus point.
Yeah, it's not the focus. I wanted to say that we're going to mainly be talking about political, probably, differences. And then that's not even the heart of my campaign. I have a story that's going to grow past that, and it might still be around. We'll see how y'all play, but that's not everything. It's just the backdrop that we are dropped into. We can't have these radical wars and differences in opinion that cause death without some serious opinionated people in charge. And I think that's the heart of what we're talking about.
I mean, I think the key to all of this is to say that we want to tell real stories. We want to tell good stories. And good stories have depth and development, and they have lows and highs and mids, and we're going to go on a journey, and we want to prep you for that journey to say that some parts are going to be rough. We have hard lines that we will never touch, but we will come into some dark places, and I hope you're willing to go there. And this one might be a bit darker than the last one.
Well, maybe.
But
if you listen to campaign 1, you get an idea, especially with Dylan's story arc, how dark we could go with some of the family trauma and drama, and how his father treated him. Those are the kind of things that I mean when I'm not going to shy away from real behaviors and things. We're never going to deal with molestation or rape just straight out the gate. We will never touch on that. We will barely allude to it if at all. As much as we love our blue our blue humor and stuff like that. I keep sex out of our campaigns in general, just because I found that depending on your table, the jokes can land the behavior can land a certain way. As a dungeon master,
the novelty often outweighs the narrative.
Yeah, if you have a mixed gender group, sometimes you guys can flirt and you guys can talk about sex in game. It's fun to roll fake sex, right? You roll the dice. That's great. That's up to your table. I find that it's typically just better to avoid it because it usually bogs down the game and unnecessary
rolled for sex.
ways.
I got a 6 and a 9.
Ooh, well, congratulations.
Man, I got a 4. Damn it.
He
I don't know what that means.
Turns out the robot was made for love.
Ooh.
That's why he's been asleep for so long. He was made for love, not war, and this is a time
of war. Yeah. So yeah, and because it's a time of war, we're introducing guns. I'm going to be talking about the horrors of guns. I don't want to shine this idea that guns have been brought to this fantastical world. Guns are going to be very horrifying. I'm not going to be using the base rules for guns from the Dungeon Master's Guide that you guys are familiar with. They're muskets. They're still single shot, difficult to reload items so that your character abilities are still going to be very competitive, particularly as you level up. But at low levels and even at higher levels, a gun is going to be dangerous. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be violent. I'm going to handle
persistent lethality.
I'm going to be handling violence with a lot of seriousness is my intent. when you guys go down for your death saves, I'm not just going to be like roll a dice and whatever, because one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is y'all are conscious when you die. I know the rules say otherwise, but we're going to discuss the fact that you're dying. And that's going to be a little dark and grim, but it gives us a chance to have some roleplay moments and, final words and things that are really great for an audio medium like ours that Dungeons & Dragons doesn't always support. But it's also really dark, and I am preparing the listener for that moment when I give the sweet, sweet, sweet final blow to these PCs who, my friends who I love. I don't want to kill you.
God willing, it's me. God willing, it's me. God willing, it's soon.
Yes. You're level 1.
And the other one that we had talked about too is D&D handles the violence very video game.
Yeah.
Up, 0 hit points. Shit, we're dying. Wait, nope, hang on. We're fine now. We have 1 hit point. We are now a fully operational battle station.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie.
It's not how we intend to.
The video game violence is so inherent in D&D that I wouldn't know how to get rid of it. But I think I am going to offset it with the gun violence. The war violence, that when it shows
impact.
Up, yeah, is gonna be a little bit different. It's going to hit different than the regular D&D combat that you guys get into.
I think that's a great way to segue into the next point you wanted to make here, which is how are you going to change the game?
Oh, okay. You want to talk homebrew?
We've talked about hard and fast lines, and we've talked about how we're going to get in certain areas.
I love that. Before I move on, I want to ask my players if there's anything that they do not want to see in the game. Period. I don't want to talk about it. It isn't funny. It's not cute.
I don't have anything off top.
I don't have anything.
I don't think so. I want to go on record as saying this. I don't think that I have anything that we haven't already touched on, which is obviously I don't want to see any sexual assault.
I particularly care about you because I made a huge mistake when I brought you in, Jeff, because you came in mid-campaign last time that I didn't have like a session 0 with you in this way. So if there is something that I haven't asked. So if it's fine to say nothing, but I just wanted to check in.
Like I said, we've already touched on the major things for me that I'm not really too into, that I'm not really okay with is really the better way to put it. Other than that, I specifically don't have any hot buttons that I can think of at this moment.
Nothing to add?
I have nothing to add.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at too. Like we discussed this ahead of time, so it was already in Jay's notes.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything to add here because we've already.
Yeah. So no sexual assault, no, let's call it ugly racism. Because you guys have even said some things like that was too close to home in the last campaign, and you steered me away from it, and we edited it out. We didn't do it in the game. You stopped. Like there were some parallels that ended up being drawn that we just said let's not do those. And so we're gonna keep that energy going forward too. And like I said, this campaign's probably not going to be dealing with racial tension the way that last one did. It's not actually an issue.
I think that as far as racial tensions are concerned, I think that a lot of what happened in the last campaign that came up between me and Ryan, or at least specifically for me, is that if you stumbled onto something that's that's a thing, don't do that. But if you mean to, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
right? Because there's intention behind
that's
that.
A great. That's why we call it hard and soft limits, right? Hard limit. We're not going to deal with sexual assault. Soft limit. If we run into this, you have to tell me about it, and then we'll discuss it real quick. But it's probably a no-no. But
if it's used intelligently for a narrative purpose, deliberately intelligently.
No soft racism, but definitely hard. We mean it racism.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. If there's racism in the game, know that we did it on purpose.
Yeah. Really fucking.
We stand behind it.
That racism was intended.
Yeah.
It was on purpose. Actually, come to think of it, maybe don't lynch anybody. Can we do that? Can we not lynch anybody?
Let's not lynch anybody. That's a hard limit. That's fine. No, hard limit. Lynch.
That's a hard limit, yeah.
Devils. The Church of Newman preaches to guard against devils, not just them. The Vesperins, the Skulls, even the barbarians across the seas know to ward against evil. It used to be just ghost stories we told our children, to help people grow honest and good. A bad life sent you to hell, but if you've seen the battlefields of those who fought against Bree, you might believe the rumors that they are possessed by an ancient evil. Black powder does awful things to a body, or what's left of the bodies. Maybe it's just shell shock, but more than one soldier has come home with tales of fighting something unholy out there. I've treated veterans who still carry nightmares. I'm starting to have them too. Makes me wish the Numenites were still around.
Rules in homebrew. If that's how you feel, and we're good, we got a few soft limits, not too many hard. I'm good with that. We can move forward. My story, as I have it figured out so far, shouldn't be a problem. Rules in homebrew. We'll go ahead and do that one. So let's see. Where should I start? Guns. We'll go ahead and start with guns since we brought those up.
They go boom.
They're an artifice thing. They are semi-magical, we're gonna say, because in the context of Dungeons and Dragons, artificery is a magic, and I don't want it to be just strictly mechanical. They are still based in gunpowder. They're very similar to a musket. If you need to talk about them, that's how they work. Like for all intents and purposes. But they're also like kind of viewed as magic equipment.
Does your game have a blunderbuss?
Anything's a blunderbuss if you load it poorly enough.
We'll talk about that later, but you literally have a guy with the abilities to make anything you are saying right now happen. You have an artificer on your team, and that sounds like great artificer bullshit for him to pull once we start playing. So, it's muskets and pistols.
Can you make a cannon that you treat like pirates treated their cannons, and you just put whatever the fuck you want in that thing?
Yeah. Gets
and
called a
launch it
blunderbuss.
all the time?
Blunderbuss?
Yeah.
You mean
It's
any metal
blunderbuss.
tube backed with a bomb? So
It's a
But
straight
because of
catapult
that-
with a bomb at the end of it?
guns,
Hell
guys.
yeah.
Guns do 46 damage.
They do 46 damage?
They do 46 damage.
46?
That's a lot. That's more than my base damage right now. That's more than my base health.
Dude, I'm not even gonna have 46 health until I'm like level 6.
Honestly.
No, you
Yeah,
won't.
You're
You're
like
gonna have
46
they do,
health points is a lot.
Guns do 46
Okay.
damage. Hey, remember when I said guns are going to be violent?
46, right? You're talking
46.
about it just does
Like
46.
4-6. It's a weird. Why
every time.
46? That's a weirdly
Yeah.
specific.
How'd you
small
settle
number.
on that? Yeah.
4 6-sided dice.
Oh, 4d6.
4d6.
Oh gosh, me
They
and
do
Mitch were just
46.
on a different page.
Cool.
We were
They
on the
do-
same page, but like different book than you.
They do 46 damage. They have a range of 20 to 120 feet.
At what point does the disadvantage
To
kick
20.
in?
21
sick.
technically.
Yeah, at 21 feet, you're less likely to be shot because it is an old school shitty ass musket. At least the basic musket that the soldiers are carrying.
Are you telling me that these barrels aren't barreled properly?
They are not barreled properly. We are in early gun stages in history.
I
in
believe
our
the
world.
term you mean is rifled.
Yes, rifled.
You're right.
No,
I
no,
do mean
no.
rifled.
This is our world. They're not barreled properly.
They're barreled.
That means they're a hand grenade.
Yes, they have a 20 to 120 foot range. That's what I meant by I'm going to be really showing how devastating guns can be, especially at low levels. They are definitely designed to kill mages. Like, they are designed to level the playing field against so-called adventurers and people of high physical ability. It's going to balance that, especially the first time you see a line of soldiers with guns. If you see a line of them with muskets, it's going to be a problem. Now, you guys will also, have access to said gun, but I think that as players, you're going to find that your abilities are pretty dope. Like, maybe in the beginning, the musket is the good choice, but reloading it's going to be a pain. In line with that, there are 2 types of magic item now. I am differentiating in my world. This is sort of a homebrew thing. There are magic items, like stated in the D&D guide, right? And then there are wondrous gear. I'm bringing back an old term from 3rd edition and Pathfinder. There's wondrous items and magic items. Magic items require attunement. They are powerful things from an old era, or they're made by a powerful mage. A lot of the items that you've seen in Campaign 1 were mostly magic items, right? Just about everything required some form of attunement, even the stuff that I didn't make attune, right? And magic items will always be better, stronger, and really there's nothing you can do to stop them. Then there's going to be wondrous items. These are things that are typically made by an artificer or some low-level mage. It is something that is slapped together and it's run by dreams and a hint of magic power. These wondrous items shouldn't need attunement, and they're going to be more common. They represent artifice and alchemy and alchemy's leaps in technological advancement. A wondrous item, however, is not magic, and so if you have a wondrous weapon, it will not bypass a creature's damage resistance. Does that make sense? Like, if I give you an alchemical sword that shoots fire, it'll do fire damage, but it is not the same as like a flame burst sword.
Okay.
Which is a magic item.
That makes sense.
And we'll talk about it as like if I hand something out, I'll let you know the difference. 9 times out of 10, it won't matter.
Right.
Particularly with a weapon, you'll notice it will because of what I did, like the example I just gave. If you're trying to bypass damage reduction, it's not gonna work. Also, wondrous items. Wondrous items also have this quality potentially. They may also be faulty, flimsy, or capable of breaking down. They tend to be less expensive, but I can make them, like, as the dungeon master, I can just be like, well, you rolled in that one, so it breaks, sort of a thing. We can, it'll be another potential issue with wondrous items.
Are you gonna build that into them, or is it just gonna be a nat one sort of thing? This is a curiosity that doesn't have to
It's
be.
going to fold into another of the house rules that I'm coming up to. Short rule, if it attunes its magic. If not, it's wondrous. That's the shorthand rule. There's probably going to be exceptions.
Yes.
We'll deal with it as we go. The next rule that's going to answer your question, Jeff, is that I want to introduce something called story points. Leading into our new brand, telling good stories, and narrative-driven podcast, that BS I said for a whole campaign, I'm introducing a thing called narrative points. In the Dungeon Master's Guide, if DMs have read that, they may have seen an alternative rule called plot points, and I kind of took these as inspiration. Plot points are a rule where you hand out a plot point to every character, and they can spend that point to make something happen in world that changes the story. Maybe they find, the example given in the book is that they find like a door, a secret door that wasn't there before. My story points are going to be a little different, definitely inspired by that. So, story points, in the vein of legendary actions, I, as the DM, will use story actions to ensure that certain narrative events cannot be avoided. Dungeons & Dragons, particularly 5th edition, is so heavily skewed in players' favor that it is so easy for you guys to steal any plans from me, because the spells you have and the abilities you have are godlike, even at low levels. Let's say I've already used my reaction, but I definitely want the story to move forward, and so I need this character to hit the big red button to cause Doomsday, the countdown to start, right? It's not his turn. The rules don't say I can do it. I know technically as a dungeon master I can just say shit and you guys have to roll with it, but I don't really like that. I like to play by the rules, quote unquote.
And how has that worked in the past?
It doesn't work great, so this is how I'm doing it. So I will tell you, I am using a story action, and that story action just happens. There's nothing you can do to stop it. I will narrate reasons in game why it doesn't happen. Like, well, why couldn't I have stopped that? Well, your leg, you had recently been tripped, so you're down, or like the world is rumbling, so you can't quite get to your feet.
That's a Deus Ex moment.
Yeah.
Well, and not just that, it also adds a play component to it where we can be like, okay, well, obviously, I guess we don't know how many story points he has, so to a certain extent, it's not.
Oh well, that's the fun bit. I can do this whenever. I just have story actions. Now, the flip side of that is every time I use a story action, let's say I do something that's plot changing, I cause it's a hard railroading decision that if it doesn't go down, all my plot will go out the window. I can do these whenever. After I use a story point, you guys will all get a story point. Story points will be replacing inspiration in this game, which means that you can use them just like inspiration. You have a story point, you can just gain advantage on any roll you want, just the same way the inspiration works. You do not gain them from doing cool shit where I go, oh, you have that. You gain them every time I use one. If I use one, you all get one. Just like inspiration, you can't have more than 1 point. And that encourages you guys to find ways to use them, even if it's just as inspiration. Now, the fun part is these story points can be used as more than just inspiration. You can use them in a few ways. I give these as really examples, but I want you to be creative with this, okay? These are like low impact ways of you adjusting the story in just a little bit. It's you as a player's ability to just kind of put spin on the ball. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Sure.
If you guys, giving an example of how you guys can use a story point. Let's say you gain an extra non-spellcasting or roleplay action within combat. Within the rules, you're allowed to interact with one object. Very low-level use of this ability. It just allows you to do one little thing that you didn't have time to do on your turn. Hide the MacGuffin, pick somebody's pocket, do something that's like I said, low impact, but allows you to do something narratively interesting. Create or back purchase a non-magic cheap piece of adventuring gear in the moment. My character would have bought rope at his earliest opportunity in the last town. So can I say that I bought rope? Bump yourself 1 slot in the initiative order. It's imperative that my rogue beats their rogue to the goal. I rolled high, but I need to go before Mitch, because Mitch is Mitch is gonna really wreck things when he gets there. Let me get my turn off first. Or one of the higher ones that was here because of Ryan's request in the last campaign. Ignore hit points in a situation where insta-death or assassination makes sense. They're asleep. You've succeeded at every check. You've beaten every wall that I can place before you, Jeff. I want to slit their throat. Well, it's just a dude. So yeah, do you have a story point? Will be my question to you. And you can be like, fucking sure do. And I'll be like, well, I'll miss that NPC. So
Sick.
we can use story points to bypass mechanics if it makes sense. And maybe he still has death saves after you do that. But still, it'll be something that we can drive a narrative point home. And like, they're designed to keep story flowing in a real way that Dungeons and Dragons on its own does not. Yes, I'm aware these are unnecessary, but I feel like it'll be a fun interaction between us. The trading back and forth of story points.
I enjoy them. I think it's a great idea, and I'm very happy about the inclusion. But the fact that I can use a story point to insta-kill someone and they still get rolls is kind of funny.
Death saves. Death save.
Fucking death save.
I just want to go on record as these can be used more fluid than those things that you mentioned, correct? Those are just examples.
These are not hard written examples. I'll go ahead and send you these as examples so you can kind of use them. I mainly made these to give you an idea of like the scale of what these story points can do. You can use them as like a ruler as opposed to a rule, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, sounds good, man.
All right.
What if I used a story point to like get a dog?
Oh, never mind. Actually, I do have a question.
Are you maybe depends on where you're at? I guess yeah. Like in the middle of like a prison cell, maybe not.
What if I'm like my character needs to learn death, and I need to have a dog. I want a puppy that I want to pet and accidentally break its neck.
I don't think I want to give you story points.
Give me story points, Jay.
Okay, man. We'll have to talk about it. And bottom line, I'm still Dungeon Master. I'm still the arbiter of whether they fly, but I'm going to be doing my best to be going like, yeah, now that you do, if you have the point, you can spend it, you can do it.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I almost forgot to ask, and it's an important question. Can we use story points to, if it makes sense, in some way, counter you using your story points? Maybe not direct counter, maybe not diametrically oppose, or maybe not, maybe, let me put it in a different way, maybe not nullify, but oppose.
I think that my just concrete response is no. That you can never undo any story. Like, you cannot negate a story point. It's not, I win times infinity, I win times infinity plus one. We're not going to do that. But the narrative is different, and we will discuss them as they come up. I think, because I think that the whole point of these is for them to be fluid, to be a sort of improvisation, yes, and I don't think I'm going to be able to answer all your questions right here, and we'll have to explore this rule as we play.
Okay, cool.
So an example I was going to ask about earlier that's kind of in the vein with this is you said the guy has to hit the button because things happen.
Sure.
So Jeff's trying to kill a dude because I feel like Jeff's character is the one that's going to be doing this. He's
Yes.
trying to stop the alarm from going off, right? But
Yeah.
the guy needs to trigger the alarm. So Jay would say, "No, you don't get the drop on him because he needs to trigger the alarm." The way I envision your system, Jeff could say, "But I do get to kill him, right?"
Yes.
So, like, you could be like, nope, the guy escapes your grasp, whatever, and hits the button, and Jeff goes, but I still get to fucking kill him, right?
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Because he's not taken away from the driving factor of your story point, but it allows him to still control his character's interaction in the instance.
Yeah, I think that, like, it's a ham-fisted way of describing the interaction, but yeah, I think that I will try to avoid, at that point...
It's not like, I trip him, no he doesn't.
If I have to use a story point, like as a Dungeon Master, I'm always just making up the narrative, right? But if I have to use a story point, it means that I am cheating my players in some way. In my mind, like as a Dungeon Master, it's like, no, that dude is downed. Like, but if it's downed, the action's going to come to a real bad halt, like something like that. It's my way of keeping the story moving in a fluid way. I'm going to try not to screw you guys, like just screw my players. I'll screw your characters with story points because that's the point of them, right? It's to keep the narrative going, keep it interesting. But I'm not going to like cheat my players. That'll be like my goal, right? As a DM is to walk that line between cheating the characters is my job. Cheating the players is a bad DM.
I think the one example that I was going to throw out as a thing that would probably not counter the story point. Using your same alarm example, if I randomly was like, I pull out a device that nullifies said alarm, obviously that would not work, correct?
It would be, yeah, that'd be a pretty, I mean, if you had something. Let's say you have something that is.
I pull out a
similar in
handheld
use.
EMP that I fucking made out of nowhere. I would
I mean,
like to
if you
use it
already
now.
have, so here's a great use for it, right? You already have a handheld EMP. It doesn't do that, but if you can be like, well, it would make sense that if this thing works on electricity of any kind, that like my EMP could fuck up that alarm.
Mhm.
If like it's a good excuse for you to be like, well, this makes sense. And then rather than us arbitrate and be like, well, I don't know, blah, 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 I'll just be like, do you have a story point?
Okay.
That'll be like my go-to is just me going, yes, if you have the cost. Like it's basically this thing where we won't dicker over things. It'll just be like,
But this
are you
is
willing to
this,
pay
this
the price?
is this is in the example that like if you used a story point specifically to set off that alarm, if I use one to counter, will it?
That would be different. No, the
Okay.
alarm went off.
Okay.
There'll probably be a repercussion for that no matter what. But if you can
Okay.
turn off the alarm, it's a great example.
Okay, full. That's all I got. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah. Like I said, can't cancel a story point, but you might find a workaround or a fix for what happens after that.
A tweak.
Is the best way to describe it. Let's see. What other homebrew? I'm bringing too much homebrew, guys. Y'all said yes to too much homebrew. Back to magic items. I'm changing healings. I'm changing them heals. There's 2 types of healing potion. There are now assembly line quick made healing potions, and we'll discuss them in game later. You will be introduced to them. But the original healing potions are better. The magic ones, the actual ones, the good ones, the ones you find in dusty dungeons and you blow the dust off and the glass is still okay and you down them. They're going to work more like 4th edition healing potions. Because, hey, listener, can you explain to me why a level 20 character gets less from a healing potion than a level 1 character does? I would like to know. I would like to know the D&D thought behind the fact that you apparently just resist magic healing.
Odd.
Yes. I was hit by a sword today, and because I'm level 20,
The point got you.
that hurt a lot. Like, yeah, I took a healing potion, and I had a sword run through me. I had like a quarter of my hit points gone, which is like 25 hit points. And I took a healing potion today, and it only healed me 8. My buddy over here, he had a sword run through him. He's only level 1. He took a healing potion, it healed him fully. And I don't know why. So I fixed it, because it bothered Jay.
Interesting. Okay.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I respect that, and I agree with it to a certain extent. But I'm also curious as like, what about the different denominators? Don't get me wrong. I don't think they scale high enough, right? Because like I think the highest scaled is superior, and that's like 4 or like maybe 8d4, and 8d4 has an average of like 16 points. 8d4 plus 8.
Yeah, you
So
heal
it's
like
like
16
32.
points at the highest level of healing that you can buy. It's several $1,000s to buy one. Several thousand gold pieces to
Yeah.
buy the highest level of healing. The way it's going to work is the 4 levels of healing heal a quarter, 1/2, 3/4, or full heal. This is what they do.
I like it.
Okay.
And it's based on your health. I don't care. It is one of the few things from 4th edition that made a lot of sense, and I'm bringing it back. You heard me. There are things in 4th that were good.
Whoa. Blasphemy.
Yeah. No.
How dare you?
I stand by it, standing on record. So healing potion will heal you a quarter of your health.
Shit.
Okay. Cool. It's still gonna be fucking crazy expensive for the bigger ones?
Oh yeah, no, it's
I mean,
still
at least they're
stupid
worth it
expensive.
now.
Yeah, it's still stupid expensive.
Giving
Not-
that a high level one full heals you, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It was when a low level one did like a little bit, and then a medium one did like a little bit +1, and then you can buy a Ferrari or
Yeah.
have,
Or
I guess,
heal
a
once.
little more.
Yeah, or heal once.
Yeah.
You could have an armor that gives you like +3 to AC, or you could buy 1 supreme healing potion. No, we're getting rid of that. It doesn't
You
make
get, like 12
sense.
hit points.
I think that the higher tier healing potions will largely be not around. Like, I don't think that they're as necessary with this particular rule set. I think a healing potion might be a healing potion. As you guys level up, I might rethink that. But starting out, I think a healing potion is a healing potion. I think because it's gonna scale with you, and you're gonna feel good about that.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, final rule. This one's weird. We actually discussed this one off the record and stuff a few times. I had Mitch and Jeff both hit me with ideas. Ryan, I don't know if you were there for this meeting.
No, but I
About-
guarantee I'll agree with it.
You're down. It's the great thing about new D&D players. They don't know better. They don't know
I
any
I
better.
don't care enough. I just want to play.
Exactly. This is great. Res. House rule for short and long rests. Not a lot's going to change, except for because we play a narrative-driven show, and 5th edition is built on the adventuring day, they change things. They expect you to do like a certain number of battles per day, expend so many resources before you get to rest, and it means that like my narrative feels very hands-tied by the system. and this is my attempt to fix that. So this rule is very tenuous, guys. I'm hoping it'll work. We discussed it, but just so you guys understand what you're going to be getting into going forward, and so that the listeners will understand why we're doing things a certain way, and the terminology we're going to use. Short and long rest will mostly be the same. However, we're going to bring this idea, and Mitch gave me this one, so shout out to you, buddy. You can fully heal with 1 night of rest, but there will now be a good rest, which is identical in all ways to a normal long rest, and there will be a poor rest, which will essentially function like a short rest. The problem is that at some point you guys have to sleep, otherwise exhaustion sets in, so it's not like your players can avoid taking a long rest forever. Something about your rest is simply not good enough if you take a poor rest, though. And for the most simple example that you guys will run into is you will get a poor rest if you are camping, if you aren't in a bed. Like, if you guys are traveling on the road and you have to make camp, you're going to have a poor rest, which means that traveling from one place to another, if you don't make it from, like, tavern to tavern, it's going to be a problem. We're going to make sort of travel through the wilderness a way more interesting and potentially deadly endeavor, which I'm hoping will add some gravitas to exploration and travel. It's not going to happen all the time, but it's definitely going to be one of those just narrative, like, oh, you guys are choosing to go out into the desert, right? You know there's no town between here and there, but you want to beat the bad guys through the mountain pass sort of thing, like, this is the drawback to doing that. Because normally you just do it, you'd camp for the night, and you'd be good to go next day, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, personally. Ryan, you have a question?
I do. As a Warforged that doesn't need to rest, how does this pertain to me?
So you want to pull up what Warforged says about rest, and I'll answer the question.
Okay.
While you do that, I'm just going to go ahead and finish out the rule. Sometime your rest isn't good enough. During travel, anytime you sleep without a warm bed and a hot meal, you will be considered to be getting a poor rest. Travel is rough. If you find yourself in a situation where you all have to take turns standing watch, I'll probably consider it a poor rest. Let's say you are in a tavern, but you're hiding out, and somebody's always on the lookout. You guys are on edge. I might tell you that you guys are getting a poor rest tonight. And the way that they work, I think I am going to make them a little bit better than a short rest. This one's from Katie. Katie gave me this one, Jeff. You can blame her for this. If you take a poor rest, that is a long rest, you get your dice back like you would, but you then have to spend your health dice on a 1-to-1 for if you can either do health like you would normally, or you can spend them on a 1-to-1 for spell slots and abilities. So a first level slot would be 1 dice.
Yeah, Katie's pretty smart. That's a pretty good
pretty
one.
clever.
I do
It
like
was
that.
a good fix that she kind of...
Yeah.
We argued back and forth for a long time. You spent 2 minutes to tell her what we talked about, and she fixed it in 5 seconds. Way to go, Katie.
Yeah,
Does
right
a
the fuck
second
away.
level slot take 2 dice?
Yes, that's how it works. Should be simple enough to understand. The only question will probably come up when it comes to, like, abilities. Like, does a fighter get his... what do you call it? Second wind, or
So
not
I'm
second wind.
Planning
action
on being
surge.
a druid. I'm planning on being a druid later, right?
Yes.
Is there going to be a point where I will not get enough dice to get my top slot back?
Shouldn't, because it's 9 dice, and
Okay.
by the time you have 9 dice, you have 17 levels.
Right. Yeah, that should never come up.
Yeah, you should
I
be
wasn't
good.
sure. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So, as far as a Warforge's rest, it is called Sentry's Rest. And when you take a long rest, you must spend at least 6 hours in an inactive, motionless state rather than sleeping. In this state, you appear inert, but it doesn't render you unconscious, and you can see and hear as normal.
Alright, so I think that my take on Warforged, particularly if you have hit point damage, right? I don't think you just gain hit points from sleep. Like, you have to heal, and as a Warforged, particularly Artificer, I think the flavor will be that you're not inactive during your rest. You're repairing yourself. Like, there is a downtime for you. I think that's how we'll describe it.
Okay.
It's, you've got your wrench out and your screwdriver, and you're just, putting the wires back in place and things like that. And if you don't have the time or the equipment, maybe, it might even come down to whether or not you have the right equipment, whether you get a poor rest or not.
Can I tell you,
It might be dictated less by the bed and more by the equipment
I
at
have
hand.
fucking every kit, but okay, yeah. Just
Yeah,
the
no,
way that
I
things
mean,
worked
but
out,
yeah,
I've got
but
it
Hey.
all.
No, it takes him.
Maybe you need
It
a
takes him an
table
hour
or
to
a
fix
bed.
himself, but it takes him 6 hours to find that 10mm socket.
Exactly, yeah. Jeff, what's up?
Yeah, I was gonna offer the idea that that in the poor rest version, he's not bringing all of his equipment with him. He doesn't have everything he needs. Like you said, he doesn't have everything he needs to fully do that. Right?
Yeah.
He can pick and choose. But in the good rest, there's like a even better, like he needs water or whatever, right? Or he needs some version of thing that he would get at in a town.
lubrication. Oil
right.
can.
You need some lubricant.
Oil can.
Oil can. Exactly.
I think it might be interesting too. Maybe when you guys are traveling, he is better rested than you. We could pitch that idea if you guys are okay with it.
That's
But
what
that's
I had
going to put
sold.
him, like y'all. He might have to protect y'all in certain instances, and then I could flip flop it later. Like, yeah, no, they get a good rest. You don't, because you don't have your stuff with you. Like something like that. Maybe it does come up at another point,
Right.
for different reasons. That'll be up to y'all,
Yeah.
or maybe Jay will just spend a story point to cause certain things to happen.
Hey, yeah. You know, we can
Yeah,
come
I
back
think
to
all of
this
those
one.
are really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that with the rules that we have set, the house rules that I've put into play, we'll be able to play on the different house rules with other house rules. I think it'll be fun.
I'm not too worried about it.
You should be.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
You've been calling me a bad DM for 3 years, Ryan. You should be worried.
Never
The
worried,
thunder's
Jay.
coming.
I'm never worried, Jay. I'm wearing my thunder shirt. Don't worry about it.
You're wearing your thunder shirt, huh? Does that resist lightning? The
Always.
thunder?
No, it resists Sonic, dumbass.
No, I like Sonic. And he likes chili dogs.
And that's the last of my homebrew. The only thing that I am going to leave you on is I'm going to come back to the homebrew for the story points, because I didn't say it. You can spend them on each other.
Ooh, okay.
Like to like make Ryan look really pretty.
Yeah, something like that. You know,
I spent a story point on Jeff. He has a good day.
yeah, he has a good day.
Oh, man.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Wholesome.
He just handles it all so well. And
It's been a great day so far.
That's a hell of a
I
way to
guess-
describe that, but accurate.
now, questions about next game. Do you guys want to know anything about the world? Do you guys want to know anything about your characters? Or something that we didn't cover? I'm sorry that I hogged the spotlight for like however long this took to do the homebrew. I feel like I brought too much now that I've laid it all on the table in one go.
No, I think it's good. I think it's a lot of really productive homebrew. I would say, as far as questions for the world, the only question that I might have, and this is mainly a question that we're going to resolve as we start recording, that I kind of already know the answer, but are we all going to start in the same place?
No, I actually am going to be doing individual prologue recordings with each one of you to set up your characters before you meet. We are going to be
Gross.
doing a prologue episode, each one of you getting a little short story about each other, or about yourselves, basically. And then session 1, basically, we'll call it episode 1, you will have met. Basically, the prologue will sort of
Okay.
show where you guys were just before you guys all got together.
Do you want to, I don't know, tease out or hint out or give us some ideas to where we might start?
You will all be starting in or near Bree, the nation, because there's also the city of Bree, and we'll let that be complicated for as long as it needs to be. So the primacy, this is why we're going to call it the primacy. So you'll be in and around the primacy or its dependencies. Dependencies are the nations under primacy control, but not fully annexed to the nation. And you will be starting in Bree, my friend. That's actually where you begin.
Ooh.
Yes. Mitch will be starting on the outskirts of a dependency of the primacy, right at the
As
the
it
border.
turns out, I'm not welcome indoors.
Nope. So he's
Definitely not house trained.
we are going to have to resolve that, and I think that's what we're going to be doing in his prologue.
Don't worry about it.
Figure out how exactly he gets around.
I'll invite you in.
Yeah, he won't know the difference. And Ryan's character's been kicking it, so we're just going to show that.
Chilling.
He's just going to be hanging in Portus Sin Mar, which is one of the major cities in the primacy, and I'll just sort of introduce him there. He's gonna be a nice introduction to the town itself.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely my biggest question. That was my biggest question at this point, is just to, see that.
I guess my
I don't think I have anything else.
biggest question is: are you going to bringing us back to homebrew? Are you going to put my homebrew weapon in the thing so that I can equip it?
Oh
yeah, the gun that fires lances.
yeah, you want the gun that the gun lance, the gun that fires lances.
My gun lance that we've talked
Yeah,
about for so very long.
No, you won't start with one.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, we will not start you with a gun lance, but
That's
yes,
fine.
there will
Can
be
he
gun
start with a
lances.
I'm
lance?
just saying.
Can he start with a lance that fires guns?
I would just
Maybe.
like to see it.
Ooh, I
just
like
want to
that.
see it.
You just want to see it. You just want it to exist. It exists.
Okay.
You don't have one.
Okay.
Okay, maybe this is a better way. So Jay, if I had a gun lance, what kind of damage dice would it be rolling?
If you had a gun lance, which one? The one that fires guns or the ones that fires lances?
Yeah, it's very specific.
Yeah.
The one that fires lances. That would do. Well, how many lances are you going to fire in one round?
If it's a charge shot, all of them.
Okay, so if it's all the
Yeah,
lances, it's
fair.
going to do 8d8. He
Nice.
fires all 8 lances at once. Yeah.
Nice. How long does it take to charge?
A full day, like just all day.
Oh shit.
This guy just it's gonna be like I'm loading up a spirit bomb.
Yeah. He holds his hands up and he
Eight,
just says,
eight
"Hey, everyone, hand me your lances."
8 episodes later.
one episode per charge.
24 hours later.
Episode 36, Ryan. Oh shit, I found my gun lance. 36 D8.
Yep. That's the energy that your gun lance is bringing, yeah. Very much anime that's trying to not outpace the manga energy. That's what we're going to be doing with your gun lance.
Sick.
Fantastic. I love it. But I also love anime that outpaces the manga, so I'm a little on both.
I mean, they're almost
fences there.
universally remade where they cut all that stuff out. So
Yeah, I know. But sometimes it was better.
I have a question for the listeners and us. So
Good.
there was some cameos in the last campaign that was foreshadowing for this campaign. Ryan's character was in an episode. A person from my cult faction was in an episode. Do you want to talk about who that was, or is anyone from Jeff's new character's origin some sort of Easter egg in the last campaign? I don't know.
Yeah, actually,
I know
yeah.
that Ryan had one. I know that I had one. I'm not sure about
Ryan's
Jeff.
character was seen. Your character's group was met by Bruce and Grim outside of Santos. And long before you guys reached Santos, a fishy boy did try to kill you as part of one of the groups you guys fought. You might remember him as the one who spoke in all haikus, and I will expect Jeff to continue that. I believe in this campaign. That's one of our Patreon subscribers, Octung Isa.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
That's weird. His character sheet just toggled the discrepancy mute.
Oh, weird. Yeah, I didn't know that was an option.
Oh, sign language. Cool.
Yeah, my character only speaks sign
Only
language.
draws
Didn't
sign
know that
language.
was a base language. Awesome.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's going to be really great for this podcast.
Yeah, make sure you do it really loud next to the mic with your hand.
Yeah, I want you.
That would be kind of hilarious.
It's sign language with the intensity of a jutsu, so you can hear that shit.
Yeah, I need to hear the wish, 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 wish.
He's playing Chewbacca but silent. Wait, what's that? Oh yeah. No, I don't think that's a good idea. No, that's definitely not going to work. That's a
He's
bad
still signing.
plan.
That's a really, really bad spell.
Okay, maybe if we go that way.
Wow.
He's still signing. That must be a level 9 spell.
So I'm gonna go ahead and copy these rules to you guys in a Google Doc.
Cool. Yeah, we might need that.
Oh, copy pasta them?
Yeah.
No, copy pizza.
Oh.
How dare.
Fuck you, dude. Pasta.
Spooky spaghetti.
All right.
Spaghetti?
Spaghetti.
All right. So I guess is there anything else we want to tease the viewers? Is there anything else we want to say going in?
When are we looking at our first ep being out?
Yeah, when are we looking
Because that's
at
a
this?
big one
Oh,
for
we're
him.
gonna release this in
we
January,
had discussed that.
which means that our first ep, it's looking like we are gonna just go ahead and hold on to it and release it. My plan is February 14th. We're gonna release.
Save ourselves for our anniversary.
that
It's the same day we started. Is the day we will
Anniversary
begin again.
That
special.
is a Monday.
Yeah.
A day of bad
We
decisions.
will probably
It's
go back
okay.
to Wednesdays after that Monday, but I am releasing on Valentine's Day to
do
show
we-
the love.
I don't know if we even want to put
Show
this on
the
here, but do
love.
we want to be nice and say that the prologue can drop on our actual anniversary, and then we can actually double drop that week, do the one on Wednesday?
Maybe that might be doable.
We'll see where we're at.
Yeah, we'll see where we're at. By the time this releases, we will have that ready, so that shouldn't be a problem.
We'll see.
All right, Mitch. I think that's everything. We covered it. Go ahead and send us on out. I've got some last-minute planning to do. Get ready for our first session. I'm excited. Tell them we're done. Make them go away.
Thanks again for joining us, everyone. It's been great to get a chance to talk at you, and we are super excited to have you join us again for our next arc of our campaign at Torchlit Tavern. See you in 2 days.